Most men I talk to have tried at least one version of the same thing. Strict all week, suffer through it. Then Saturday comes and they eat everything that wasn't bolted down. And they call it a cheat day, or a refeed, or a diet break. They've read about it somewhere and they're pretty sure it's helping. But here's the thing, it might be a well-dressed excuse to overeat, or it might be the exact reason they're not making progress. My name is Adam, I'm a performance nutritionist. I have a master's in performance nutrition, and I've worked with over 200 men helping them lose fat and keep it off. I want to clear up what cheat meals, refeeds, and diet breaks actually do, when they're worth using, and when they're just doing more damage than good. I used to think of these terms interchangeably. Cheat day, refeed, diet break. I threw them around like they meant the same thing. They don't. And that confusion cost me a lot of wasted months. A cheat meal is unstructured. You eat what you want, usually in a surplus, and you're not tracking it. The benefit is psychological, and it's just a break from the mental effort of dieting. That's pretty much it. A refeed is structured. You raise the calories back to maintenance, mostly through carbohydrates, for maybe 1 to 2 days. Fat stays low, you track it. The carbs refill your muscle with glycogen, which helps you train harder and produce a short-term lift in leptin, a hormone involved in hunger and how your body regulates energy. It's intentional. It has a purpose. A diet break is usually longer, maybe 1 to 2 weeks at maintenance calories, still tracked and still intentional. Used when you've been in a deficit for a prolonged stretch and the psychological load has generally accumulated. It's a pause, not an exit. A cheat meal is a choice, a refeed is a tool, a diet break is a planned intermission. And those distinctions matter more than most people realize. I'll show you why. I'll be straight with you. I used to believe refeeds were closer to magic than they are. I'd eat maintenance for a day, feel better, and convince myself I'd reset something meaningful, that my metabolism had bounced back, that I was being smart. I wasn't being smart. I was overstating the effect because it suited me. It fit my bias. And there's solid research on structured refeed days in people following resistance training programs. Like, one group dieted straight through, the other group used 2 high-carb refeed days each week back at maintenance. Both lost a similar amount of total weight, but the refeed group held onto muscle a bit better, and they kept their metabolic rate a bit higher. Real findings. Refeeds do have a place, but the effect is modest and most people overstate it massively. The leptin response fades within hours. You don't get any meaningful metabolic reset from 1 day at maintenance, even 2. What you get is better glycogen stores. Your next few sessions feel less awful. That's the actual benefit worth having, not the physiological reset it gets sold as. Diet breaks show something similar. There's evidence they reduce some of the hormonal adaptations your body makes during prolonged restriction. But when you match total dieting time and total deficit between groups, the body composition outcomes aren't dramatically different. The main advantage is that people find the diet's just easier to complete. And that is generally worth something. It's not worth what the industry charges for it. Cheat meals, very little evidence that a single untracked meal has any meaningful effects on anything. The benefit is in your head, and for some people that matters. For other people, one untracked meal becomes 3 days of chaos, and they spend the rest of the week trying to dig out. Which brings me to something that nobody in the fitness space wants to say out loud. I had a client, Marcus, 44, senior manager. He came to me after 2 years of on and off dieting. He was strict Monday to Friday, then he used the weekend as his reset. He was certain this was working. Told me he'd been pretty good for months. I remember sitting with him and looking at his numbers. Almost immediately, I noticed something. His weekday eating was solid on paper. His weekend eating was undoing nearly all of it. He wasn't losing fat. He was just maintaining in a deficit for 5 days, a surplus for 2, and it balanced out. And he couldn't understand why nothing was changing. I had to think about how to say it because he wasn't being lazy. He'd been working hard. He'd been dialing things in. But the cheat days weren't strategic. They were restriction catching up with them. I only recognized it because I'd done this myself, grinding through the week, denying myself everything, then using the weekend to eat everything I denied myself. I'd literally have a drawer where I kept all these treats for the cheat. And I told myself it was just smart. It had to be done. And I thought I was being disciplined Monday to Friday. I guess I was. I was actually just setting up a binge. And the worst part about it was I knew something was off. I just didn't want to admit that meant my whole approach was flawed. That cycle, restriction, rebound, restriction, rebound, kept me the same weight for a long time. I convinced myself I was making progress. It wasn't a discipline issue. It was just my method. And this is what the fitness industry consistently glosses over. If a refeed or a cheat meal makes the overall process more manageable and you end up more consistent over the weeks and months, it's doing its job. If it's undoing your weekly deficit and you're calling it science, it isn't. The question to ask isn't, is this allowed? It's, does this make my diet easier to sustain? If the honest answer is no, it doesn't belong in your plan. Okay, so cheat days don't boost your metabolism. There's something in this which is why it persists. Short periods of overfeeding can temporarily increase energy expenditure and leptin. But the structured refeed at maintenance produces the same response without the risk of eating 4,000 calories and wiping out everything you did Monday to Friday. The metabolic argument for uncontrolled cheat days doesn't survive contact with actual numbers. The second is that diet breaks make fat loss faster. They don't. They extend the timeline. The trade-off is you might actually find a long cut more survivable, but you won't finish faster. Whether that's worth it depends entirely on where you are mentally. The third is that you need to blow out to stay sane. I'd push back on this hard. And when men are in a deficit that's actually appropriate and not too aggressive, not miserable, and they're actually eating food they enjoy, the desperate need for a blowout largely disappears. That craving for an escape valve is usually the diet telling you something. It's just too restrictive. The food is too bland. The calorie target is too low to sustain. If you fix the diet, the cravings tend to go away with it. I worked with a client called Daniel. He was 45. He played a lot of sports, but he was consistently falling off the rails on a Sunday. We tried tightening things up, adjusting his weekend tracking, but nothing really held up. So I told him to stop fighting Sunday and structure it instead. Eat at maintenance calories, keep it carb heavy, and train that afternoon. He thought this sounded too easy, like I was just letting him off the hook, and he pushed back. But the pattern broke almost immediately, not because we'd unlocked anything clever, but because we planned this release at the end of the week. Sunday stopped being a failure. It became part of the plan. That's how these tools work when they're used properly. So here's the framework. Sort the basics first. If your calories aren't in the right range, your protein isn't adequate, and your training isn't consistent, refeeds and diet breaks don't fix anything. These are additions to a working program, not corrections for a broken one. And then ask whether you actually need them. If you're progressing well, training feels manageable, and you're not fixating on foods, you probably don't need them. They're optional. But if you do use refeeds, keep them structured, calories back to maintenance, mostly carbohydrates, keep the fats lower, and schedule them on your heavier training days. The point isn't to eat as much as you can justify, it's to briefly reduce hunger and fatigue without blowing your weekly averages. If you use a diet break, treat it as part of the plan. Again, maintenance calories, still tracking. Use it after a sustained stretch of hard dieting, like if it's ahead of you or you've been doing a period where it's genuinely more difficult to be consistent. You go back to your deficit afterwards. Of course, this cost you some time, but the return is arriving at the end of a long cut without having lost your mind halfway through. And stop using the word cheat, not for any philosophical reason, just because it builds an on and off relationship with food that makes everything harder. Build flexibility into your week as a normal part of the plan. Enjoy it, then get on with it. Look, I want to be direct here because this is what matters. For some men, refeeds and plan flexibility works well. For others, one untracked meal reliably becomes a multi-day spiral of guilt, compensation, restriction, and it repeats. If that's you, no amount of structuring is going to solve this because it's not a structure problem. If cheat days consistently lead to several days of chaotic eating and you generally feel some shame or loss of control around food, that's worth taking seriously, not by optimizing your refeed protocol. And there's no macro split that fixes that difficult relationship with food. I would suggest talking to someone. Cheat meals, refeeds, diet breaks are not the same thing. They're not magic. Refeeds can help with muscle retention and training quality during a cut. Diet breaks can make a long diet feel more survivable. Plan flexibility built in from the start is usually way better than just some restriction followed by unscheduled chaos. And none of them are going to rescue a diet that's just all over the place and just too aggressive or too restrictive. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe and watch this video next. I'll see you there.